Hello, everyone, and welcome to Video Club Reviews. Today we are reviewing The Batman. This is the newest Batman since the last Batman. This is Matt Reeves' Batman starring Robert Pattinson Batman. So, not any previous Batman. This is the latest reboot of Batman.
It's the Batman.
The Batman.
The Batman.
The Batman. Robert Pattinson stars as a younger version of the Caped Crusader in Matt Reeves' Batman reboot. It follows Bruce Wayne's early crime-fighting days. I think this is actually based on year 2 from the comic books, as he tracks a serial killer who leaves cryptic messages at his crime scenes. The extended cast has us excited, with Zoe Kravitz as Selina Kyle, Paul Dano as the Riddler, Andy Serkis as Alfred Pennyworth, and a hardly recognizable Colin Farrell as Penguin. 2 sequels have already been planned, so we'll see how that goes. I actually did not look at box office numbers for this, so I don't know how it's trending, but I assume everybody's seeing it. It's the first big tentpole movie to come out in a few months here since December. So yeah, that being said, Rob, what did you think of The Batman?
I liked The Batman. It was fun. It's definitely a bit of a departure from some of the tempo from the other ones. So it's not. It's exciting. It has action and everything else, but it's not like just solely action. It's a little bit more of a slower pace to it. Also, obviously, for 3 hours long, it's a good movie. I was entertained.
Let me jump into. I should say we are going to keep it spoiler free here for the first 10 minutes or so. We'll make it very clear when we're going to get into spoiler territory. So if you haven't seen it, you're safe for a little bit. But sorry, yeah.
I like this. I mean, I was a huge fan of the very first one. I'm also a big fan of the Heath Ledger Batman, so I'm putting this right up there with my enjoyment for this movie. Like, what is it? The best one? The Michael Keaton's got nostalgia. Heath Ledger, obviously because of him. So I would say it's one of the best iterations of Batman.
The best one.
It's the Heath Ledger Batman and not the Christian Bale Batman.
Yeah.
This is the best Batman since the last Batman.
Yeah. It's definitely worth it.
All right, definitely worth it. Tiffany, what about you?
Yeah, this is the best Batman since the last Batman. Overall, I really enjoyed it. The casting was incredible. The acting was amazing. The cinematography was incredible. And the score was really well done as well.
Yes.
It was a really good movie. And I enjoyed the pacing. It is 3 hours, which I feel like for me, the older I get, the less I'm willing to sit for 3 hours for a movie. But I actually didn't really feel it as much because the pacing was so well done. And I really enjoyed the detective noir theme of this movie.
Yeah.
It was really good.
So I also agree pretty much with everything you said. I really liked it. A couple pointers. Yeah, it's 3 hours long. We saw it quite late. I had a few beers beforehand, so it was a bit of we felt tired when we got out of it for sure, but it was definitely it's definitely a different feel than other Batman movies, which I think is a good thing because it's been rebooted, like we were joking about at the beginning, so many times that it needs to be different. Batman himself feels like Batman, but Bruce Wayne is way different than previous iterations of Bruce Wayne. He's not a billionaire playboy. Yes. He's very dark and brooding. He's almost like Batman, more like Batman than Bruce Wayne in previous movies, which I think is good because he's a young Batman. He's just starting out. He's just figuring out who's who in the crime world and how to go about his approach to things. And he's not quite yet the master detective that he ends up being. Obviously, he's not the world's greatest detective yet. He's just starting out, which is, it's just a different portrayal. This movie too I wouldn't call it a fun movie. It's not fun. It's very dark. It's very brooding, and it's very tense. Like this movie has you on the feeling tension a lot throughout the movie. Like you feel tension for a good half or more of the movie. So. And it's 3 hours long, so just keep that in mind. It's a tense movie for a long time, so it can be a bit of a grind in that sense if you need some stamina for sure mentally. It looks, like you said, beautiful too. It's filmed like noir style. Everything's very dark. Everything's at night. All the lighting, Rob and I actually noticed this. We watched it together, and we noticed that the lighting was all like, you were pointing out to me that it reminded you of the old like original Ridley Scott Blade Runner, because everything's like there's no LED bright white lights. Everything's soft,
I've got
almost like
some more to
candlelight.
add to that.
Yeah, everything's almost
I've
like
got some more to add to
candlelight type lighting, right? Like realistic lighting, which is
but it's not like too dark.
No, it made it feel really more intimate though, and really cool. So I think it looked really, really good. The acting in it, like you said, was really good too. Like I mean, anything Zoe Kravitz tells me to do, I'm just gonna do it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Alfred Pennyworth was great as Andy Serkis. Colin Farrell.
Do you mean the other way around? Andy Serkis was good as Alfred Pennyworth?
You know what I said.
I know what you said. I didn't hear what you meant.
You said what you said. I said.
It's a great Andy Serkis.
You said what you mean. Colin Farrell though, like I mean, I knew it was Colin Farrell going into it as what's his ass, Chester Copperwald, the Penguin. Before he's the Penguin, but like he doesn't look like him at all. Like I'm staring at him, going like I can't see Colin Farrell as this character. He has so much, so many prosthetics on. But he was
just
he was
his
great.
Smile.
Yeah, he was great though as the I guess he was more of like a gangster mobster in this, like pre-Penguin. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, so all the acting I think was really good, like you said, cinematography really. Matt Reeves, one of his best movies that don't involve monkeys. So
yeah,
he did a bunch of ape and monkey movies, War of the Planet of the Apes movies. He did also some monkey movies like way back before the Planet of the Apes movies. So
really?
I always wonder if that's
monkeys. All right,
that's why he got tapped. He also likes Andy Serkis. So yeah, that I really like some movie. I'm gonna we'll go around and give it some reviews here, or some scores, I guess. I would say for me, out of a scale of 10, I'm gonna give it an 8.5. Closing in on a 9. I really like the Christopher Nolan era of Batman movie. I mean, I like almost all there hasn't been Batman movies that I'm like, man, I hated this, other than the Michael Keaton / George Clooney kind of end of the run there, when they got just campy and terrible. But I mean, yeah, Batman's been good for a long time. Even Zack Snyder's, I mean, I dare to say it, even his Batman was pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. What about you guys?
Tiffany?
8.5 too. 8.5 batarangs.
Batarangs. I'm gonna buy even a little higher than you. I think it's a 9 for sure. I definitely maybe a bit higher, but I mean, there's no 10s in my mind for movies. Even Dune didn't. Dune's my new favorite movie, probably for decades to come. Even that didn't get a 10. But I think it's hard not to kind of look at this movie with the lens of all the other Batmans that you've seen, and so not have that kind of change your thought process on it. So looking at it as its own, the whole feel of this movie is so much different from the other Batmans. It's very dark and gritty. It's just so much different by comparison. It's so far departure from the other ones. So I give it 9. And Tiffany stole the batarang, so I'm gonna just give it 9 out of 10. It's a
9 out of 10 movie. 9 out of 10.
Stray Cats.
9 out of 10 vengeances.
Oh, see, you guys, Wade, you got me there.
All right. So yeah, now we're gonna do the Rotten Tomatoes game. So this is where we try to guess the score of some related movies based on the Rotten Tomatoes critic score. So I've got 5 movies here planned out.
You've got quite a wealth of movies I'd like to choose from.
A plethora.
I could have literally just done all Batman movies, but I didn't do only Batman movies. Oh, really?
So,
Planet of the Apes.
There is some Planet of the Apes in here, yeah. So the first movie I'm going to do is Batman. Not the Batman, but Batman. This is the original Michael Keaton Batman, starring Jack Nicholson. As the Joker. That came out, I think, in 1988. So what do you think this movie was scored by the critics?
By the critics?
Every time.
It's always by the critics.
The critical score out of 100. The critics?
The critics?
Yeah. The critics, I think the critics gave this a 72.
Okay, Tiffany?
Oh, God, I don't know. I'll guess 65.
65. The critic score of this movie was 72.
Whoa.
Rob, if you're cheating, you're being real on the nose with it.
That's awesome.
So Rob gets -5 points for getting it straight on.
Starting off strong, Tiffany. You got a hard act to follow tonight.
And Tiffany also has just 7 points, so still very, very close.
So really only a difference of, 12 in total.
12 points, yeah.
Anybody's game, Tiffany.
We've seen pretty big swings in this, though. So I tried to go with the very first movie in the Batman series. So the next one is Batman Begins. Christopher Nolan's Batman, starring Christian Bale. Yes, this one here, critical score out of 100. I have no information on this one in terms of when it came out or box office. Doesn't matter.
Perfect.
And Rob, you're leading, so you go first.
So we got Liam Neeson in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul, yeah.
Rob's like, that adds 10 points.
Oh, that just helps me. Just,
Liam Neeson's though?
No.
He's got a very specific set of skills.
Yeah, I mean, he's great at his critic score, I'm guessing. I would think this one got a 81. I'm very animated right tonight with my guessing. So. Exactly, yeah.
All right, Tiffany, what do you think? Higher than Rob's 81 guess?
I'm going to guess higher. I think I'm going to guess 90. I was going to think 91.
91. The actual score was
add 10 points for
84.
No.
So Rob off by 3, Tiffany off by...
Rob, you're a freak.
7. So Rob, Rob has a score of has -2 after 2 rounds.
Bullshit.
Insane. All right,
cheated.
moving away from Batman and moving into monkeys.
I have no idea which movies he picks, smartass.
You looked it up.
This is a movie directed
by... He posted it earlier? He posted the list earlier?
Movies. You knew what the game is. Well, apparently he doesn't know what the game is. Critical score?
Yeah.
That's right. Keep you guys all guessing. That's right. This mastermind's working here.
All right. So this one here, if you get this one bang on, then clearly there's something going on. But this is Matt Reeves directed War for the Planet of the Apes. This was the last movie, the last Planet of the Apes movie.
Oh, the last one?
The last one.
I never saw it.
I don't even know.
Might have.
That's what is Mark Wahlberg in that?
I don't think
spaceship. So. The spaceship. Hey, you're a monkey. How's that?
No, pretty sure Mark Wahlberg is not in War for the Planet. Andy Serkis is in it.
Wait, is there a spaceship?
I think so.
I don't believe.
At the very end, they try to get off planet. I think.
This movie sounds crazy.
I think they're trying to there's a start, they get it's an astronaut's spaceship, and then.
All right, so this movie had Steve Zahn, Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson?
Judy Greer, Ty Olson, Andy Serkis. Yeah.
Okay. I don't really know. I'm 62. I'm just stabbing in the dark here.
62. All right, Tiffany?
I'm going to go 47.
Ooh. Man, you had an opportunity here to catch up, Tiffany. This got 94. This was the highest rated of all of the This is the highest rated of all of the Apes movies. If you had just went the other way from him, his low 62.
I assumed it was bad. It sounds crazy.
He he directed this movie and then got the Batman. Come on.
That's true.
All right.
But men in Hollywood can do anything.
That's true. Except for get a sequel until we see the results of the first movie coming out. Denis Villeneuve, looking at you. Next movie is Robert Pattinson. Russell Pattinson. This is a Robert Pattinson flick.
Twilight.
The reason I picked this one is because it was Robert Pattinson's most recent movie before this, and it also has our theme, Tom Holland, in it. So this is The Devil All the Time.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, you did.
I haven't seen it.
I
know nothing about this.
I don't remember Robert Pattinson in it.
I have not seen. I mean, maybe I made a mistake, but either way, The Devil All the Time. It doesn't matter. Rob hasn't seen it. What do you think?
Would you say I've neither not seen it? Like you just double negative that sentence. I neither not seen it.
Right.
I ain't not seen it.
I have no reference on this whatsoever, so I'm going to go with a really crap answer and put it at 50, right in the
50.
middle.
It starred Alfred Pennyworth as the devil.
There you go, Tiffany. I gave you nothing to work with.
No, I did. This movie didn't do great, but I didn't do that bad. I don't think. I feel like it got 79.
This movie got a 64.
Shit.
So you were 14 off, Rob. Tiffany, you were 15 off. Rob's increasing the lead.
I hate this game. It's a stupid game.
Didn't you mount like a massive comeback to beat Jim last time?
I don't.
Oh, speaking of massive comebacks, the right now, this with one question left, Rob has a total score of 80 points. No, that's not right, because we haven't got the fifth one yet. Either way, the difference between you two is 32 points.
Okay.
So Tiffany, you've got a difference of 32 points between you and Rob. So the next one here had Robert. No, who was in this one? Why did I pick this movie? Oh, Zoe Kravitz. And also somewhat related to Robert Pattinson because it is in the Harry Potter franchise. This is Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. Also Colin Farrell, but not in the last one.
Is that the newest one or the second one?
I think this was the last one. Hold on, I'll tell you in 1 sec.
Is it the one that's coming out? No, it can't be. There's no critical score for that. So it's the second one.
This would be the second one.
Yeah, I never saw it.
Is this one with Johnny Depp's in these movies as well?
Sometimes.
Yeah, but he's replaced by Mads.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Here and there.
For the first one.
It's true.
This one came out in 2018. I'll give you a little bit of the cast here. It's got Eddie Redmayne as Newt Scamander, of course. Dan Fogler, Johnny Depp was Grindelwald.
It's just Grindelwald.
Kevin Guthrie was Abernathy. This one had Ezra Miller in it. It had who played what's his face? Dumbledore was played by
Jude Law.
Jude Law in this one. That's all I'm going to tell you. 2018, and Zoe Kravitz played Letta Lestrange in it. So,
all right. Well, I guess I'll go for another somewhat relatively safe answer. Since I'm trying to keep my lead over Tiffany, I'll go 64.
64.
Well, shit. Now I have to go 32 points higher than that. What's that?
32 points higher or lower? You think this got 30? You think this got 96?
No, I don't think that. But I should go first. The loser should go first. I shouldn't go second. No, I don't know. Because I don't know.
Maybe the loser should have the choice whether they want to go first or not. That way, if they know.
I would have chosen to go first. What's 30? What did you say, Rob?
You're off by 36.
64.
36 points here. So
I said 64.
Sorry, you're off by 32 points. You're off by 32 points.
32 points. So I have to say 30. What is that?
You have to go 30 points. Like you have to go 20.
I'm gonna guess the critical score is 30%.
30%. The critical score of this movie was 36.
Oh. Jim gave me a hint, I think.
So the final score is still Rob in the lead with 72 points. Tiffany in second with 82 points.
Oh, you brought it back to 10.
Coming back from the clutches of destruction with
Tiffany's honestly the underdog. She lets them get way ahead and then she just like almost beats them at the line. You beat Jim. You came back from a devastating point deficit.
I thought for sure you were going to say 36 here and get it bang on. If you had said 36, let's see what would have happened.
She would have been within 5.
I didn't think it was going to be that low.
You would have won 71 to 72.
What?
You would have, if you had guessed 36, you would have won by 1 point, Tiffany.
Oh, right.
But I also
because of the negative 5
won anything, so it's fine.
I mean, it would have been pretty epic. We would have had some highlights for sure out of that.
Yeah.
We would have won content. Okay, well, that's the end of the game. Rob wins again. I think he's like won the last 19 in a row or something like that. So,
I mean, I'm not gonna be completely an asshole, but a lot of these movies I haven't seen yet, Tiffany. So, I mean,
I haven't seen all of them either. What the hell?
It should just illustrate how much of a fluke I am. All right, that's all I'm saying.
We'll find a way to conspire against him. Okay, so from this point on, we are going to be doing spoiler territory. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want it to be spoiled, we're going to be talking about the riddles. Because the villain's the Riddler. That's not a spoiler. That's everybody knows that. So yeah, after this, spoilers.
All right,
and here we are with spoilers. So, yeah, I don't know the best way to talk about this or the order. I guess, I mean, the spoiler territory in this movie is just like how it plays out and like what the.
Let's start off with what you like, and then we can talk about the don't like.
Well, I kind of think I already covered that well. We think we covered that well enough in our spoiler free. What I was really hoping for in this movie was like a mystery, like a good, like like really crazy. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, you see those movies that just have like Knives Out type of level of mystery, where it's just like
Yes.
you don't know what's going on, you think you know, and you don't know. It kind of was like that at
It
times.
almost was there,
but it also was kind of just like things were happening, and then the pieces would. I would have liked the mystery better if throughout the movie Batman or Bruce Wayne was like solving the mystery and putting pieces into place that led him to like something else or like a next clue. But it felt like he was more so being fed the answers of things. Like, he's really good at riddles. We got that much, right? He always answers the riddles real fast.
Mm-hmm.
He is good at forensics. He sees things like from the forensic side of things. Like when he goes to a crime scene, he's like picking up the forensic stuff. But in terms of being a detective and figuring out like the suspects and the rationale behind like the decisions everybody's making, he's horseshit. He like didn't really.
He's kind of naive,
right? But also, I mean, the fact is, he is year 2. This is him beginning out, so you could see the markers of a great detective based on like the things you can learn, which is like the crime scenes.
Yeah,
I mean, writing riddles. I guess he's just good at riddles. I don't know, but
they didn't really elaborate as to why he knew was so proficient at the riddles, did they? I missed any point. Did they at some point drop a plot point like he had a book of riddles sitting on his bookshelf or something like that? Like nothing like so cliché obvious.
Like he
just knew riddles.
He just knew riddles.
He did in fact get a lot of things wrong, right? Like he made a lot of decisions that were incorrect or assumptions that were incorrect. But it was cool because the riddle and the crime or like him trying to solve it had him delving back into his own personal history and like what happened like with his father and his mother and all the crime bosses that were around, when his parents were killed however many years ago. I think it was 2004. No, 2004 is when Zoe Kravitz's mom was killed.
2001, I think.
Her mom's gravestone was 2004, so I sussed out during that
Sorry,
she was 23. Oh, sorry, for Martha and whatever his dad's name is. Who's Bruce Wayne's dad? Who's Bruce Wayne's dad? Thomas Wayne. Thomas Wayne and Martha Arkham. I had no idea that Bruce Wayne's mom was from the Arkham family until now. I'm sure that it's been out there a billion times, but I didn't know.
Yeah, neither did I.
I mean, my background, other than the Batman movies, is like the 1990s Batman animated series, which is still amazing. But that's about it. I didn't really ever get into Batman comic books or any of the other Batman cartoons growing up or anything like that. So
I had some stuff like some good ones like Batman with Hush and stuff like that. There's just different. I mean, but anyways, to what you were saying before, like this is basically his starting out. I like the fact that he did make mistakes. He made the wrong assumptions. He was just innately like the Batman. This is what was interesting about this movie that I liked, and I read something that's like, it's not so much the difference about this Batman compared to other Batman movies is each other Batman, it's Bruce Wayne trying to live 2 lives. He's trying to be Batman, he's trying to be Bruce Wayne, the philanthropist, the playboy, and everything else. Where this movie, it's not Bruce Wayne trying to be Bruce Wayne and Batman. He is
Bruce Wayne's Batman.
He is the Batman.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't try to stay up in the middle of the day and go to meetings and everything else. He is this. And something's really interesting about this when you read it. Every time you saw Bruce Wayne outside of the suit, he's small. His body is little, almost looked like... It didn't look imposing. Whereas all the other movies like Affleck and... What's his... what's
Affleck,
Nolan, but they're big. Their physique is really big, right? And they had all these scars. But even Robert Pattinson's body he's muscular, but he's not hulking and like full of like muscles. And he's still got scars and battle wounds.
Yeah.
So he's not. It's not 2 lives. It's 1 life, and this is
his scars are emotional.
Yeah, and he's tripping and working his way through it.
Yeah, no, that's for sure, though. I mean, his whole thing is just he's doing all this because of vengeance. He's pissed off, and he's trying to get revenge. And, like, Bruce Wayne himself is still in that mindset of just revenge. He doesn't give a shit about Wayne Industries or Wayne Enterprise or whatever. Like, it's Batman. So when he's not Batman, he's still basically Batman, just out the costume. He's pissed off and brooding.
Yeah, there was... Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, when he... like one of the things that kind of happens in the movie is like his whole motivation is just vengeance, and he keeps obviously saying that I'm vengeance. But at the end, that turns against him when other people start using vengeance as their motivation. aka the Riddler uses vengeance, and you find out the Riddler thinks him and the Batman are actually partners this whole time. It's not like a thing he's doing to the Batman; it's a thing he's doing with the Batman because he also is all about vengeance, and all these other villains are all vengeance. And he realizes at the end of the movie that vengeance isn't the way forward. It's like hope or whatever it is he decides to kind of lean to next, which I think is why we'll start to see him start being more of a Bruce Wayne outside of being Batman, right?
It's possible, yeah.
He'll still use the fear that he talks about a lot, but yeah, no, it was I really just liked the tonal shift. And it's going to be interesting to see how they play out the emotion of certain things going into like the second and third movie. If they actually see like his like character change a lot, or if it's going to be the same way throughout the next two movies. It makes me think it's going to change, but we'll see how it actually is portrayed in the next movie or whatever.
I liked in this movie there was no like his mental schism, like a break, and he's like relating to he's a bat. There's none of that. He's just like, I found this as a tool. This is what I'm using to like instill fear.
Yeah,
that was nice, and like he didn't want to have a mental disorder. Like a superhero has a mental disorder. That's why he's a superhero. Is like he could just be a normal man who just doesn't want to see this go the way it is anymore.
Yeah.
His armor is I liked quite a bit.
Yeah, the fight choreography in this was very gritty, very cool.
The action scenes are really well done, like that car chase.
Yeah.
Was really cool.
Car is amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty cool when it just like lights up in the dark and then all the fire comes out of there and you're like, oh man.
I was very like little boy, like it's all the muscle car aesthetics that I love, but then with
not future car, not tank, but muscle car.
No. Yeah, muscle car aesthetic that is the Batman's driving a muscle car and all of a sudden it's in the sound. Oh.
Yeah, no, the Batmobile was very, very cool. He has a motorbike that has like a bat ears on the cowl over the headlight. But that was really it. It wasn't like a crazy technological. He didn't have machine guns or guns on his like vehicles. Yeah, at least that he used. He didn't have.
Well, the symbol on his chest was the batarang,
which is
so that was I was like, hey, actually utilitarian. Like it's like that serves two purposes or multiple purposes. Like I like that. It wasn't just like kitschy techno gadgets.
It's my branding for merch as well as a weapon.
Yeah, my branding's going to cut your throat now, kind of, or cut a cable. What do you use it for?
Did he have a utility belt?
I don't think I saw it.
Did he have nipples on the suit?
No.
Did he?
I don't think we talked about
nipples.
Tiffany, do you have anything? Because I'm going to talk about some parts of how this movie looks. But do you have stuff that you?
Yeah, 2 quick notes. Best thing about this movie was the eye makeup, because previous Batman, some of them have had eye makeup, and then they take off the little bat mask.
No eye makeup.
And there's no eye makeup, and he had it. And it actually looked kind of cool. Like in trailers, I was like, oh, that's like a weird emo Batman, but it all made sense in context.
I think every Batman had the eye makeup when they're wearing the cowl.
They would have to, because they would look ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then my least favorite thing, I would say, I just wanted more Alfred. I just wanted more of him. Like, it wasn't enough.
Yeah, the guy that was playing Andy Serkis was awesome.
He did a really good job portraying Andy Serkis.
He did a really good job. He actually reminded me a lot of the Alfred from the Christopher Nolan movies. I can't remember what's his name, Sir.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Kane.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
It's because he had the same type of English accent from the same region of Yorkshire or whatever.
But he was like badass, and he was like a cool Alfred.
Where they have chocolate bars not for women.
Like he's killed a man. Yeah.
Check out Snack Time.
Yorkies.
Check out Snack Time. British snacks.
Only eats Yorkies.
Only eats Yorkies. He's a real man.
He's a man.
Yeah.
He was a very cool Alfred for sure. He taught Bruce how to fight, not like ninjas. I guess there's a comment about him.
You think like in the next movie they'll probably do a look back on that, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Like I
would assume maybe Alfred's got like SAS background training, so he's going to be some like practical ass kicking.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Right? He was way more of a brawler than a ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, adding to that brawling part, like this is another part is like, so he gets like Bruce gets shot and he's down and out. He gets hit in the chest with that shotgun, and the armor sparks. he's exhausted and brutalized and beat, but I don't remember seeing him take a bullet wound anywhere. Did I miss that? Did he actually have a bullet hole in him at any point?
I mean, the way I kind of read it was that he didn't actually it didn't go through his obviously got ballistic armor on. I just think it was like a point blank shot. So I think it like probably almost knocked him out, right?
So adding to that, he couldn't get up and fight. So then he gets an adrenaline and he puts it somewhere. There's a spot on his armor, but this is what I liked about this, Tiffany, is he didn't just stick himself somewhere. Because if he just stuck himself somewhere, then guns and knives would have gone through that weak spot in the armor a million times, or it just wouldn't have been feasible. So now there's an actual spot, like a port. Okay, I'm going to need some sort of adrenaline at some point in time, and he sticks it in there, and he freaks the fuck out, and it's just laying and just wailing on him. It's like, okay, well, Batman clearly loses his shit from time to time in this movie, and has to be told to stop. Like, so that's what kind of makes this feel more like an actual movie.
More grounded.
Yeah, and not a comic. So it's one other thing that add to that is like it's a PG-13, and I was also in the same impression. I read a bunch of people that this is unfortunate that if it had an R rating, imagine the tone, the way this movie felt with just a little more bite. So they couldn't do certain things because of the PG rating, or PG-13 rating. But they somehow made this PG-13 movie seem far more.
Oh, it straddled the line. It straddled the line for sure. It straddled the line for sure. Like I was wondering, like, oh, should I take my oldest son to see this because he loves Batman? I'm like, oh, PG-13. He's basically
but the tone makes you think
10. I'm like, no, I better not. And this was
Batman
not
for adults. I'm sorry.
This was not PG-13. It's an adult.
You see it when you're older.
Yeah, the tone makes this feel way heavier than the PG-13 rating.
Yeah, and I've seen lots of people online saying, "Can I take my? Has anybody seen this? Is it okay to take my kids to? They're like 13 or whatever." And I'd say no. I'd say probably wait until they're 16 or at least, if not older.
Sometimes the Riddler's tonality and what he's talking is very like unhinging and scary, and that could probably get under some kids' skin and make them feel like...
Paul Dano's the Riddler was
so unsettling.
Incredible.
Yeah, he hits a very creepy tone. Yeah, it's you kind of like do one of these, like, okay.
Just the way his voice like changes as he's talking, where it's like, it's like so messed up, man. It's so good.
There's like a comical tone, and then when his tone goes up, it's like rage.
Yeah.
It's rage in a voice that isn't like booming and intimidating. It's rage, or it's like, that guy sounds like he's just gonna kill you. Like he doesn't need to be big muscles to do it.
Yeah. No, he's got many screws loose, obviously.
Let's talk about our queen, Zoe Kravitz, real quick, though.
Okay, cool. Go for it.
She's
oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I might be into S&M now. I don't know. So I'm gonna buy some latex. She's awesome. Yeah, she was badass in this for sure. I mean, Catwoman is always actually a pretty badass character. I've always liked Catwoman, even in the cartoons that I watched when I was 10. I thought Catwoman was cool, which is like you're a boy like who's 10 years old watching like a superhero like Batman. And there's like the girl character, the villains. You're like, yeah, whatever. But I remember thinking, oh, Catwoman's really cool. And then when I saw like Catwoman, like Michelle Pfeiffer in the old movies, she was cool. Yeah. You know, she was like obviously like sensual or whatever, like sexualized, but like she was still a cool character. And like she was like, she basically like flirts, but it's like she's in control. Like she uses everything as like a weapon, and she's got like her own scheme and her own plan. Like, that's what makes her so cool, because she's doing her own thing. It's not really, she might be joining you for a bit, but she's got her own motivations. And so even if it was so like in the Christopher Nolan movies with Anne Hathaway, she was less. She became more of like a sidekick to Batman, obviously near the end of the movie. But always, Catwoman has always been a very cool character, I think. And Zoe Kravitz's version of her was really cool.
Yeah, and she's such a like small person, very thin and small, but she was just like so cool and badass, and like wailing on that guy with the gun at one point.
The way they made her fight was like a realistic way for a smaller, slighter person to fight.
Yeah,
like she went her hits and attacks were like she went for parts of the body like that were vulnerable, like the face, the neck, and the groin. Like it wasn't like she was slugging it out. She was like hitting people to make them stop fighting as fast as possible.
Yeah, we touched upon it before. It's a little bit more realistic of a Batman. How this would make
fight choreography.
Yeah. Although one part of that portion with Catwoman at the end, where they're both talking, and then they do their motorbikes to go separate ways. They're in a building somewhere, and they're on a fucking patio of an old, like, this is an old Victorian style building. Both of them got a motorbike up there somehow. They just both get on a motorbike. They're clearly on a fucking patio. They're on something. They're not on an overlook or anything. They're in a building, in a patio, and they're both like, okay, they go down, and they're driving somewhere. Like, you got your bike up the stairs in a building? Like, what the fuck happened?
You don't know Gotham.
I don't. Thing. But anyways, so but that was and the very end.
Who would move to Gotham? Who would?
The very end when Riddler's talking to, I assume it's the Joker. Well, one guy's.
It's been confirmed. It's been confirmed. The person in the cell next to the Riddler at the end is the Joker.
Okay, so one guy like over my shoulder is like, "Oh, it's Two-Face," and I was like, well, but the face. Anyways, you couldn't really see a great deal, but the laugh at the end felt a little kind of forced. Like they're trying to do
comic-y, right?
Yeah, just it was the whole tone of this entire movie was dark and gritty, and that at the end brought the comic book camp at the last section of it. That laugh, it felt very forced and kind of campy between those two manic characters in the DC universe, when the whole movie tonality didn't really have that. So, yeah. But I am excited that
it's a new villain, and he's going to do his own tone. Yeah. Doesn't have to match the tone of the movie. He has to match the tone of his character, right?
Fair enough.
The actor that was playing the Joker in the cell is the same actor that is in the Eternals as the guy who can control people's minds.
Oh, Monk,
the Irish guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, that's cool. Because he can kind of hit a weird.
I've seen pictures of him grinning, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
I could see it. And he's a young. He'll be a young Joker. He's not like older than Batman. Joker's always I always assume was older than Bruce Wayne. Just the way
usually
he's
portrayed. Right?
Yeah. This he kind of seems like could be around the same age.
Like the way this movie is filmed, and I leaned over to you at one point, and I'm like, this reminds me of Blade Runner, and even Dune. The cinematographer for this movie is Greg Fraser, and he did Dune. So that was like crazy. I'm like in my head, I'm like, man, the way this feels. But they made this very dark and gritty, and they used a lot of, Jim, you nailed it perfectly in the beginning. Candlelight felt very intimate. That was exactly what they were going for. They wanted candlelight, but they did it like a red plate. So what you did see, it had whatever light you did see felt warm and soft, so it kind of drawed your attention. And if you ever noticed when they did some of the
it's all 2400K lighting.
Right. They did some of the close-ups. Did you notice if you saw Batman in the back, it said lies in there, and it's all written in blood on the newspaper, but it was somewhat blurry. Mm-hmm. So he did that on purpose. It was called, what do they call that? Area LXLE, something like that. So it's a style of software or lighting or lens that it's supposed to make it like diffuse the background. So like when you do your software with your camera, it diffuses the background, but you're clear and crisp. So for specific moments and everything else, like they wanted the character to be really, really crisp and clear, and then the background kind of got blurry. So there's a scene with Batman and Catwoman. They're like face are really close, but the whole background kind of fades. But because of the way it's lit, it's all this really nice saturation and
you got bokeh. It's like bokeh balls in the background. All the lighting is like these weird ovals.
Yeah, so they chose all of these.
That's what they're called, as bokeh balls or bokeh.
I know exactly the trend you mean. Yeah.
So they made a point of doing this, and there's people that are like, yeah, it was kind of weird, like, but that was so you focused on that character to kind of make it pop and everything else. So I really like the way the cinematography is done in this movie. I like the way it looks. It's hitting checking all the boxes of what I like aesthetically. So Dune and this are right up there with the way they look in my mind.
Yeah, for sure. I also, one thing too, I'm really happy about is that they didn't kill off the Riddler. One of the problems with like all superhero everything for the past 20 years is that they end up killing off so many villains. Like the Joker has died in every other movie he's been in after one movie, right? Except for the stupid tattoo face Joker. That doesn't count in my opinion.
Jared
Leto's Joker. He does not count. He's not. He doesn't.
No, don't do it.
Like every other Joker died. They were in one movie and then they die. And it's like, man, the Joker is supposed to be his nemesis for a long time.
And Batman doesn't kill.
But Joker always ends up dying, right?
What villains are in Arkham Asylum? All of them.
Right. They always go to Arkham. They always
Well,
get out. I mean, obviously it's like trope because you have to like keep the comic books. They don't want to. The comics have realized you can't kill off your villains because then you have no more villains.
Yeah,
And
Bane died, but I
movies
think
have
it's
not
just Scarecrow.
realized. Movies have not realized that you can't. Like even the Avengers and like all Marvel, they kill off so many villains. So obviously they have now the ability to bring people back through time travel and alternate dimensions. But like you don't want that to be the crutch in every franchise of like we have to like open multiple dimensions now. I mean, they're all trying to do it with the Flash and stuff in DC. I get it, but like, you don't want to have to rely on that because you kill people off, and then you got to like keep thinking of new ways to bring them back. At some point, just capture them, right? Like
because you can have a whole movie from them in prison or variants. There's a lot you can do.
Yeah,
but,
and you can then you could even replace actors, and it could still carry on as like this is Batman Year 2. You don't. Robert Pattinson doesn't have to do 20 movies, but he could do a Batman like Harry Potter. You could do Batman Year 3, Batman Year 4. It doesn't have to go to like, oh, this is Batman after 20 years of being Batman, like in 5 years from now, because it's been 15 years and they're still using Robert Pattinson. They come up with a new character. It doesn't have to be a reboot if they recast Batman. It could be, oh, this is Batman Year 5, and it's just it's a different actor because Robert Pattinson doesn't want to be Batman anymore. Like they can do this. They can make that happen. Like they can actually show us the career of Batman over 20 years with 20 movies that maybe actually come out over 40 years. Like
good.
It's just a better way to do it than jumping all around. We've seen Batman. Like Ben Affleck, the last one was Old Man Batman, and he was in the same universe as all the DC characters that are now current, Aquaman, the Flash. So now what are they going to do? They've got this like universe now with the Flash and Aquaman and Wonder Woman that they're obviously going to keep making movies about, or they want to. There's a Flash movie coming out. Aquaman 2 or 3 is coming out, right? Like the fucking what's his name?
Black
Adam's coming out. They're all in this one universe, and now like Matt Reeves' Batman is in another universe. Like,
man.
It's like the problem. It's such a stupid problem of that. So why cast Batman as an old Batman in that? Like,
because that's a story arc. I guess that's how comic books run.
You just see the problem. Like you can see the problem presenting itself.
Oh yeah, well, comic books went to New 52, so they had all these characters like Thor and everybody else. And then a New 52 is like, well, Thor's a female. There's Miles Morales as Spider-Man. So like at one point, they're like they've gone through, just like you said, all of the iterations, the different timelines, all the different things. Like, you know what? It's just a hard cut. New story arcs. Yeah. It doesn't all have to be connected.
Because they've been working so hard at DC to like have all this stuff connected. They're trying to pull their own like Marvel thing, and they just keep fucking it up over and over again. So like, are they gonna like actually have the Flash now bring over Robert Pattinson's Batman somehow?
Why not?
I could very much see that happening. Like we gotta fix this and then just stop doing this.
I want him to run in. I want the guy playing the Flash. I can't remember his name. He's pretty funny. I want him to run from that one movie, How It Feels in the DC. It'd be fun. And the way it's lit and the way it's filmed, the whole tone and everything else. And then I want him to run into the new Robert Pattinson and be just comment, oh god, it's like dark and dreary in here. Like make an actual comment about how much different it feels. I think that would be kind of fun.
Yeah,
tongue
for
in
sure.
cheek a bit.
No, he could definitely pull it off. He's like a Deadpool type character, right? Okay, well, we're coming up on 42 minutes here, so why don't we? I don't know if you guys have anything that you wanted to talk about that you had noted down still.
Tiffany?
I didn't make any notes. We didn't talk about the scene in the police station where he's being like, he wakes up and he's being interrogated and escapes, and all the cops rush him. That was really cool.
Yeah,
I didn't understand why they started shooting immediately at him, but okay. They did start shooting at him immediately.
Yeah.
Reasons.
Yeah, we're just like, we all opened fire.
I hate that guy. He's always on there. He's always in their crime scenes.
But then, like,
he's not a cop.
3 days later, he's working with them again.
Yeah.
Didn't I just shoot you? Yeah.
Yeah. And then like that scene where he's like in the Riddler's place, and the cop is like, "What are you?" Stares at him, and the cop's like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah.
Touches the evidence. What are you doing? Don't touch that. Just stares at him.
Yeah. Just stares at him and pokes it.
Just as one of these.
Oh, John Turturro. John Turturro too.
Turturro.
That guy's making a resurgence. He was awesome in this too. As
is he making a resurgence? He's always been
Carmine
awesome.
Falcone.
Yeah,
Falcone. Carmine Falcone. The other guy was Maroni. Maroni was killed because he was ratted out by Falcone. And then that pissed the Penguin off, which is why you called him a rat at the end. But so that was. Did he die? He died. He got shot. He got brought into the light and shot. So in the comics, Falcone, or not in the comics, sorry, like in the comics and the cartoons, Falcone was a character for a long time as well. They've now killed him off, so they are still kind of doing the same thing, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah.
But whatever. They're
long as Mr.
going to have to reboot this whole thing in a decade, anyways.
As long as Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't come back as Mr. Freeze, then I'm okay with the current tempo of this new Batman universe.
DC sure makes it hard for themselves, though, with all these cities that don't exist, like Gotham and Star City and whatever else there is. Whereas, like, Marvel is like New York, San Francisco, like, it's all real cities. It just...
But that being said, this portrayal of Gotham, I thought, was really well done. Because it didn't feel like any other American city, like it sometimes can, I think, in some Batman films.
Well, Gotham's supposed to be like a kind of what, I guess, like Chicago, New York cross.
Yeah, but it's not just like Chicago, it's Gotham.
At least Robert Pattinson's Bat voice wasn't too... Pattinson.
You called him Patterson twice.
Yeah, sparkly man from Twilight's Batman voice wasn't too horrible.
No, like, but you know what his voiceover?
Christian Bale's like, I'm vengeance. He's like, it's always like this pout. He's like, I would get you, and it's just like a little too much.
The voiceover at the end, all I could think of was Abed from Community.
Yeah.
I can't sleep. You sleep. I don't sleep.
Great. Okay, well, go see Batman. It was great.
It was really good.
Go see the Batman.
The Batman.
The best Batman since the last Batman. All right. See you next time.